I hope you're all having a really great week today. We are back with another UFit Times Eat Love Nutrition webinar. I am Ale Zozos, EatLove's lead dietitian. If we have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, I know we like to do these webinars about once a month on popular nutrition topics, things that the community requests that you want to learn more about. And with the time of year, with getting back in the groove of things after summer, maybe kids going back to school, maybe you're working from home or you're starting your regular routine back to work again. We want to find that balance and put our goals at the forefront without feeling like it's taking over our lives. So today's webinar is going to be on all things work from home, just work in general, life balance, getting back into the groove of things, about some simple tips and tricks that we can do in all areas for nutrition, mental health, stress management, and of course, exercise. We are going to go through a couple of SMART goals with each of these pillars as well. If you're like, wow, this is a lot of information and I don't know how to structure or streamline it, I'm going to encourage you to pick one goal a week and kind of run from there. Okay, yes, of course, there will always be a recording that I will share back. I am not in a great Wi-Fi location either today, and I do have my AirPods in, but if I lose connection, I don't have my monitor either. So I will be checking back periodically to see that I still have everyone here. So just let me know in the chat if I lose connection or anything like that. I will check back periodically. Actually, you know what? I'm going to run some polls and I am just going to upload this file, and I think that'll be a little bit easier. But while I'm doing that, I would love to learn more about our audience today. So if you just want to pop in and say, hey, and where you're tuning in from, I'd love to learn a little bit more about our audience. Anything there? Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, that is uploading. Hello from Almonte Springs, Florida, Hollywood, Florida, Miami, Florida. Hollywood, amazing. Welcome, welcome. And then I do have a couple of polls as always. So first is, what type of UFit membership do you currently have? So this is not currently a member, so you get some newsletters or information from the club considering becoming a member. Your basic membership, your premium, and your premium plus membership. The difference between premium and premium plus being that you have access to Eat Love, which is, we're going to reserve a couple minutes today to go over it in case you already have one and not sure how to get started. You may already have access to some of the nutrition benefit pillars that we're going to talk about and integrate into our plan today. All right, give me a couple of seconds here. So we have lots of basic memberships. Fantastic. Awesome. So yeah, as always, these webinars are going to be a great option to just learn about nutrition in a low stress environment. Anytime you want to hop on and, share any requests or things that you want to learn more about, we've been doing these for a couple of years. We have things on weight loss and GLP-1s, which have been very popular this year, to just how to do that appropriately, maintain your muscle integrity and everything. We do meal planning and prepping webinars, and also just nutrition for general health and wellness. Right, so this is still processing, but I am just going to jump in today. And if I lose connection, I will just hop back in once in a while to see if we still have access here. All right, well, let's share my screen. Is there an audio or just chat? Can you guys hear me okay? Can you still hear me? The chat is going to be chat. There's not going to be an audio portion to it. So if you have any questions, just feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll get through as many as we can today. I'll check back every couple of minutes or so just to make sure that I'm still connected. Fantastic. I appreciate you guys today. So let's dive in and we will get started. So reclaiming your wellness routine, structuring work from home and back to school life. One thing I should mention is, even if I lose audio, it will be in the recording, so you will be able to hear it again then if I miss it for a couple minutes. But we're going to cover balanced nutrition and how to integrate nutritious meals into your daily routines for school, work from home, work on the go, meal planning as well. So, practical strategies for sustained energy and focus throughout the day. Stress management, we're going to explore effective techniques for managing stress, improving overall wellness, and the connection, understanding that between nutrition and mental health. So, what does the impact of food have on our physicals and mental well beings? So, starting with balanced nutrition, and I sound like a broken record as I probably talk about this every time we get on a call together, but it's that we have structured, balanced meals. We are not just eating on a whim, we have an actual pattern or system, at least during the work week. That's going to be really important for us because our bodies start to get in a cadence and we start to understand it's noon. I usually get hungry around this time. If we're eating at all different sorts of times, our body fails to put itself into this cyclical rhythm of staying on track. That way, we're not overly hungry at any one point in time and overly full at one point in time. I always talk about that nutrition scale, that 1 to 10. You want to live in a 3 to 7 range at all times between hunger and fullness. If we are waiting until we are voracious, so hungry to eat, we are probably going to end up at 10 and overstuffed on that scale. So, having structured meal patterns is going to be so important to maintain our consistency. And we want to make sure those plates are balanced. So, on the picture to the right here, you're going to see a lot of really delicious foods that we can incorporate into our day to day. So, we have our beans, legumes, our fruits, our vegetables, our olive oil up in the corner, nuts and seeds. You can see over here are some flax seeds. And then we have our proteins. And as you can see that the majority of this picture is made up of plant-based foods. Of course, we can still enjoy our meat or our fatty fish to get a lot of nutrients there. Of course, red meat's going to give us a lot of iron, but we don't want to have it at every meal. And our fatty fish is going to give us a lot of good omega 3s. So it's just a matter of the balance and making sure that we have protein for muscle repair and satiety, healthy fats for brain function, carbs for sustained energy, and vegetables for our vitamins, minerals, and fiber. We also want to stay hydrated and drink 8+ glasses of water daily. Now, if you're like 8+ glasses, how many ounces? And I'm nowhere close to that. This isn't one of those smart goals that you can put in place for yourself. 8 ounces, about 8 glasses of 8 ounce waters will put us about 64 ounces a day. It's a baseline. Some of us need more. Some of us just naturally drink less, but that is kind of 60 to 100 ounces is going to be a gold standard for most of us unless we have other conditions that are going to inhibit the amount of fluid we can take in. But for the general healthy public, 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water is going to be a good option for you. Mindful snacking as well. I know when I work from home, I always have to have something that I can reach for quickly because I have access to the fridge. I'm literally staring at it 24/7 to nutrient dense, rich options. There's chips in the pantry, there's crackers in the pantry, which are great in a pinch, but I want to balance that plate out. If I'm having carbs and fats from the chips, where can I get some fiber? Where can I get some other vitamins and minerals and protein, more importantly? So I like having nuts and seeds on hand. I like having a type of fruit. I like to switch it up each week, and I do like to eat seasonally. So in the summer, I'll have some fresh berries. In the fall, I'll have some apples and pears. And then the early months of winter, like February, March, I do a lot of kiwis then. So lots of really good nutrient dense options so that I can have mindful snacking in between my meals and making sure that they are mini versions of those meals. We still want protein, we still want fat, and we still want carbohydrates at those meals. So I'm just gonna check in to see if we are still connected here. Okay, good. Sorry about that, guys. Want to make sure that we have everything moving functionally. Okay, so effective meal planning. So we want to plan ahead, and that involves planning our meals on the weekends or the weekdays if that is easier for you. I personally really enjoy Saturday morning planning first thing when I wake up. It's kind of hard to get away from it because the household is relying on me to come up with meal recommendations for the week to come so that we can put our order in because I'm all about streamlining and making sure that I can use my time efficiently where I don't have to step into a grocery store. So actually meal planning on Saturday online and virtually forces me into this habit to make sure that I have balanced meals for the week ahead. And I use when I do this, I will show you how I do this on EatLove. It's a great tool to use, whether if you're just doing your breakfast and dinner planning. There's a lot of great tools and resources to keep yourself accountable and also getting your grocery list. You can prepare prep containers or do easy on the go options. I'm not a meal prepper. I think there's a big difference between meal planning and meal prepping. I don't, spend the whole Sunday cooking all of my meals for the week. I just don't think that's a great use of time, especially if we can get really good at easy grab and go options. If that's not something that you enjoy, but you've been forcing yourself to do it, you don't have to do it to be successful. Just putting that out there, and reserving, 20 minutes a couple of days a week to, chop your vegetables, prepare your fruit in a way that's going to be easily accessible. Just making sure everything's chopped and ready to go. If you need to defrost anything from the freezer, do that on Monday so you have a couple of days for it to defrost naturally. So just those types of things that can save a lot of time and barriers that we get into when the night comes after work and we actually just don't feel like cooking. So you can batch cook, you can make some larger portions. I like leftovers. I like referring to batch cooking as leftovers because I don't need to make and I don't need to eat the same thing every day. But if I want to do 3 dinners, I'll do fish on Monday because I'm not a leftover fish person. Tuesdays, I'll usually do another protein, like meat-based protein, so chicken or pork or red meat or anything like that. And I'll have 2 days of that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday is usually a vegetarian day, whether it's a big salad with beans or another fish. That's not vegetarian, but you get the idea. There's ways that you can streamline this where you're just checking boxes to make sure that you're keeping things in moderation and that you have a well-balanced dishes. And you can store those portions for versatile meals during the week for easy grab and go. If you're not someone that enjoys, leftovers or planning ahead that way, you absolutely do not have to. Some of the meals in EatLove are going to show you just how simple it is to be effective with meal planning and your execution of that meal for the week to come. And then we have our healthy snacks. So I love the fresh fruit option, having pre-cut vegetables. You can even buy them pre-cut. They are a tad bit more expensive, but if it's going to save you 30 minutes of stress and reducing your food waste because you just didn't get around to chopping your gigantic carrots, why not buy the baby carrots? They're perfectly fine, as well as our nuts and seeds. So we're going to hop over to stress management right here and checking here. And we'll go back here. All right. It's always really challenging when I only have one monitor today. So stress management is just as important as nutrition when it comes to overall wellness. We can't be all work and no play. So we do have to find some strategies in here to keep us zen as much as we possibly can. So this means exercising regularly. The American Heart Association recommends about 150 minutes of moderate activity a week or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. And those are usually determined by your heart rate. So if you want to do a really quick math equation, take 220 minus your age, and that's going to be your maximum heart rate that you really don't want to exceed. Now that depends on your level of fitness, and if you're an athlete, that does vary, but for most of us, it's going to be 220 minus age. And then if we do 50 to 70% of that heart rate, that's going to be our moderate. So that's going to be things like walking, doubles tennis, gardening even can get us into that heart rate zone. And then if we're looking at the vigorous activity, we're looking at about a 70% of our max heart rate to an 85% of our max heart rate. So just doing some quick calculations that way can kind of determine where you'll be there. So that could be very brisk walking. Like I walk uphill all the time. I love the treadmill to do that. And that actually puts me in a vigorous category because I'm walking very fast and I'm walking uphill. So it's, in my case, the same as running, but much friendlier on my joints. Strength training may be moderate. Things like singles tennis or jump roping could be vigorous activity. So 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week would put you at 150, or you can spread those out for different versions of your activity level. They also recommend getting at least 2 days of strength training. So it's not just cardio based. We want to keep our muscle intact. We want to strengthen our tendons, our ligaments, things as we age that start to go quickly. So we want to preserve that as much as we can. So prioritizing that, and you have a great resource in YouFit to get on a schedule and regimen that way. You also want to prioritize your sleep. So 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night is crucial for that mental and physical health and well-being. You may say you want really well off 6 hours or even less. I hope it's not less. I personally lean towards the longer amount. I'm usually a 9, sometimes 10-hour sleeper, but having a nightly routine to put yourself, start to de-stress and unwind at the end of the day, it's going to be really helpful to getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And then practicing mindfulness, so deep breaths, meditation, or journaling can also help reduce stress and increase your focus. So, talking about nutrition and mental health, we have the gut brain connection, we have mood boosting foods, and the ability to avoid processed foods is going to really help with this link here. So, a little bit about the gut brain connection. And a couple months ago, I think we did a really great webinar on just healthy guts. So, that webinar may be available on the UFIT library, content library for YouTube. And the healthy gut via probiotics and fiber can improve your mood and reduce anxiety. We always say that good nutrition starts in the gut because it's going to fuel the brain and help us improve our mood, have more energy, reduce anxiety. And what do those mood boosting foods look like? Carbohydrates, our brain runs, our bodies run on carbohydrates. We cannot get around that, especially if we have an intense workout plan, if we're doing a lot of cardio based exercise, if our jobs are very demanding in the sense that we have a lot of physical activity to put forth during the day. We need complex carbohydrates, and we can get those in the forms of whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, farro, potatoes, sweet potatoes. All of these are going to be mood boosting foods. Anything that has a deep hue color to it. So sweet potatoes are listed here because they are orange and they have vitamin A, which is the precursor, or beta carotene, which is the precursor to vitamin A, which is a mood boosting food. Our brains love vitamin A, so it increases our serotonin levels. Healthy fats are going to support brain health, like avocados, nuts, extra virgin olive oil, which I cannot live without, is going to be all of supporting benefits for our brain health. And then, of course, no surprise here that avoiding processed foods, or at least minimizing them in our day to day, the sugary processed, highly processed foods that can cause our mood swings, our energy crashes. If we are not balancing out sugary foods, it's very natural to feel that increase of energy followed by a crash 30 to 40 minutes later. So if we're going to have a slice of cake or a half donut for a coworker's birthday, can we find a Greek yogurt to go with it? Can we find some nuts and seeds to go with it? Basically just distributing that trend, that macro balance out a bit, so that we're not just getting one micronutrient, one macronutrient. All right. So talking about our goal setting. So I talked a little bit about SMART goals earlier, and it is an acronym for specific, measurable, the A is escaping me, realistic and timely. We'll say A is applicable, so it's relevant to your goals. So there is achievable. So specific is choosing a precise goal. So preparing balanced lunches for the entire week. It's very specific, but we want to define it even further. Measurable is going to give us how much time we're tracking this goal for. So we're meal prepping for 5 days, not the entire week, but at least 5 days of the week. It has to be achievable. If it is not a realistic goal, it's not gonna take place. So if we are someone that is making dinner one day a week and we're like, you know what, I want a meal plan next week. I want to do all the meals, and I go from planning one meal to 21 meals. It's not realistic. It's gonna, more than anything, be sticker shock at our grocery store. And then the ability to execute that plan is going to be wildly behind because you don't have a system in place to carry something like that out, at least not for every single week for the rest of your life. So we have to make it a gradual change. If we're planning for one meal a week, let's shoot for two next week, and let's be successful with that for 2 weeks before we increase to another one. It's okay if it takes us longer to get to the end result. The end goal, there is no end goal with meal planning. It's something that we have to be consistent for the rest of our lives. And finding that system is going to be one of those ways that you can ensure that happens. You want to make sure it's relevant. So aligning with your wellness goals, eating balanced lunches will help improve energy and focus. If you're someone that ends up skipping lunches or eating at your desk, not being very mindful about the process, this is going to help you improve your energy and focus because you're giving your body fuel. At the end of the day, food is fuel. And if we're missing opportunities for fueling, we're going to be tired. We are going to be more cranky even. We may have some mood swings. We may not be very nice people when we miss our meals. I know I'm not. I get hangry, as you call it. And then time bound. We want to set a deadline to achieve this goal. So I want a meal plan for the entire week, 5 days, batch cooking for 1 hour on Sunday. And I want to do this and I want to have this locked in by the end of the month. You're giving yourself 4 weeks to really carry out and execute this plan. So, some goals over here that incorporate the programs and the pillars that we talked about is nutrition. I will prepare and pack a balanced lunch with protein, healthy fats, and vegetables 5 days a week for the next 2 weeks. Very specific. For movement, I will take 10-minute walking break every 2 hours during work for the next 30 days. If you think about that, that one's actually pretty lofty. If you're working for 8 hours, you're going to do 40 minutes of walking. That could be your lunch break. You could take a call on there. But maybe you could even do 10 minutes every 4 hours, something like that. That way you get your activity in. Mindfulness is I will practice 5 minutes of deep breathing or meditation at my desk twice a day for the next 3 weeks. So, very specific with our goal setting. So, the call to action is to take action today. Small, consistent changes are going to make that big impact. We don't have to accomplish everything. And realistically, we're not doing multiple different pillars at once. You can master a pillar before you move on to the next one, or do smaller versions of these goals if you want to start to incorporate more pillars on a week to week basis. But there is no race to the finish line here. We are all on our personal journeys, and we have to stay committed to that journey for that balanced nutrition and wellness. So, building your routine step by step for long term success. And then we can start planning. So, set aside times a week to meal prep or just plan in general. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a meal prepper. I cook for about 30 to 45 minutes 3 times a week. That's it. Breakfast is a throw together, lunch is a throw together, and the only thing I'm really preparing is dinner. And we want to have those times for the structured wellness activities. So, that is a little bit of our plan here. I do want to share a couple of really interesting things. If you are someone that is stressed for time, or we all need a bit more time in our day to day, is groceries and ordering. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm so big on the fact that we can get groceries delivered to our door. And I love the grocery store. But if I can save 2 hours a week and get everything that I need, I'm only buying what I need. So I'm not being tempted by the aisles or the setup in the grocery store, their fancy marketing displays, or the the scents and aromas in the grocery store to buy things that I didn't have on my list, nor do I need, and I don't have a plan for. Because if you go in with a plan, you're going to spend less money, you're going to have less food waste, and you're going to be more successful with your goals because you're only buying for exactly what you need. So, groceries in less than an hour, sign me up. So, Eat Love does feature a comprehensive system that gathers all these ingredients from the recipes you've scheduled, however many recipes, whether it's one, whether it's two, whether it's 15, however many recipes you want to do, and you can fill in the gaps with the rest of your list. Send it out to Instacart or Walmart or Amazon Fresh or Whole Foods. Have it picked up, or have it delivered right to your door for your preferred delivery service based on your location. So, I do want to talk about our in-house nutrition program. And if you guys have any questions on the topic that we reviewed today, feel free to drop that in the chat box and we will get through as many questions as we can at the end. But UFIT's in-house nutrition program, Eat Love is personalized nutrition guidance 24/7. If you have a Premium Plus membership, you already have access to this robust platform, and you can always upgrade and speak with your home gym if anything that I mentioned today really strikes a chord with how you want to plan and the vision you have for your nutrition and wellness goals. So, when you create your profile, you're going to get the option to choose from a selection of lifestyle goals, or even just you're managing specific health conditions, prediabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension. You want to follow a Mediterranean diet. We got everything on the platform. We support over 97% of eating patterns. And we're going to give you a personalized nutrition profile in here that's going to give you your macro breakdown, keeping you within your envelope. It's going to give you maximums on less desirable things like saturated fat, sodium, even added sugar. And we're gonna get minimums of positive things like fiber, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, even, and be within our macro ranges. So with that, you're gonna get meal recommendations 24/7 that has recipes that you can make at home, restaurant meals on the go. There's about 200 national popular chains in there, meal kits and ready-made meals, and you can send that all to your grocery. Great food analysis and daily log piece, our Facebook community, and of course, our monthly webinars. So I do want to share with you just a couple of things on there today. Let's see here. We are on this one. So when you create your profile, this is what that'll look like. You get meals on demand. It looks very much like Spotify. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can favorite your meals, and you can even swap them for something that you would rather have instead. So, my lunch today, I have this chicken cheese sub. I want something a little bit more basic, a little bit easier, maybe something throw together. I can hit swap, and I have dozens, if not hundreds of options that I can choose from that I can throw together quickly. Chicken tomato wrap, anything like this. You can even keyword search, but you're going to get thousands of options like this throw together meal here. Love something like this. And I'm going to plug that into my planner. And boom, I have a new lunch that still matches my nutrition prescription and profile that will pop up here to be within ranges and not exceed maximums. So, another really great feature that we have in here, so here is that plan that we have, is the since I'm on the desktop, I'll show you the expanded view. The swap option for restaurant meals, it'll be based on your geolocation. And if I am where I usually am in Austin, I have all of these restaurants to choose from. If I wanted to go to Chipotle for dinner, what can I eat at Chipotle that matches my nutrition goals? And it's not just the menu item. We're actually telling you what is a good combination of meals that you can put together. So you can do that in here and you can select a dish and add it to your meal and it still matches your profile, so you don't have to dwell on it or feel guilty about your choices. It still matches your profile. EatLove is completely agnostic to diet. We don't rate food as good and bad. There's Food has no moral value. There's no point to that. If it matches your nutrition envelope and profile, you can find a sound recommendation, make a confident choice wherever you are in the world. You can add it to your grocery cart. You get your grocery list, you can add additional items, and then you can buy online through one of our third-party integrations. And here you can see that here. It ships out to the grocery store and you are ready to go. We're really big on value add at Eat Love. So I did want to highlight the Nutrition Academy for nutrition education. If you want more information on anything nutrition related, how to get more whole grains in your diet, learning about specific nutrients, things like enhancing your protein or a potassium cheat sheet or getting enough iron in your day. We have recipes and collections that are linked to those handouts that you can click into, as well as our database of nearly 8,000 dietitian approved meals. So you can see that in here. There's, regardless of where you get the meal inside Eat Lab, it's going to be balanced because all of these meals have been approved by dietitians. We just uploaded a whole bunch of vegetarian dishes in here. I've had half of these already. They're incredible. And they're scan products in very quickly so that you can get a custom breakdown of your nutrition analysis. We're going to give you really great detailed reports to for you to go in and judge the quality versus the quantity of your diet. How are you doing overall? Where can you make some adjustments? If you're really looking at saturated fat because you're managing a high cholesterol journey, how can you stay within your guidelines? This is going to teach you how to do that using the Use Plus plan. And if it's in Eat Love and it's very easy to log to begin with, here's your water intake that you can track, your weight, and even exercise. We are integrated with Fitbit for steps taken and calories burned as well. But I'm going to come back over here and stop my share screen and see if we had any questions for today. Anything at all. Amazing. Thanks, Eric. George, great question. No carbs, a lot of protein. I'm not a fan at all. Just speaking candidly as a dietitian, there are very medical reasons that that may be appropriate, and that is usually for childhood epilepsy. So there is, in terms of our bodies currently, there's a lot of research coming out now because keto is it's been around forever for medical conditions, and the long-term effects of that. And I've had, people come to work with me after being on keto for years because their cholesterol is through the roof, usually because you're eating a lot of saturated fat. So there is no diet healthier than eating plant-based and, not vegetarian, not vegan, just getting more plants in our diets. And plants come with carbohydrates. Complex carbs come with carbohydrates, and we can have a really good balance that way. If we're putting a label on it, I follow a Mediterranean plan. I get a lot of vegetables, I get a lot of fruit, I get a lot of whole grains. That research is there to support long-term health and wellness. Is it the fun, trendy thing? Of course not. It's never the fun, trendy thing, but I love it. I think it's a really great way to still enjoy the things that bring you joy. After all, food is a universal experience. It helps us connect. It's a social experience. We want to connect with others with it. And if we are following very strict and rigid types of food where we are removing something, um, it usually is going to have long-term effects and probably not in the positive light that we're looking for. Um, so helping go to evening snacks. I love protein. I love yogurt at night. Just anything because protein's going to digest a little bit slower as we sleep. So if I'm going to have anything after dinner, it's usually like I like fruit after dinner too. But I like pairing it with a Greek yogurt or, a small protein shake or something like that. To do anything like that. My protein shake involves silken tofu, not necessarily a powder. Sometimes it is because I like the flavors, but I do silken tofu in my mind recently has been a superfood. I've been loving that in smoothie bowls. Fantastic. Yeah, and then just a note on fasting. I know this is general nutrition information too. Cravings down at night. Sometimes when we crave things, it's because we're underfueled. So just keep that in mind. If there's something that you're omitting from your diet that you just need to have back in a balanced and moderated way, sometimes that does help with cravings as well. But thank you all so much for the questions today. I will talk to you soon. As always, you can hit up our support line if you have any nutrition requests, support at eatlove.is for topics, but I'll be back next month, most likely, with another nutrition You Fit Times Eat Love webinar. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye.